So welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for joining us for the Self-Care Summit. We actually are contributing one of our yoga sessions and meditations. Tell me a little bit about your background and what you do.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Amanda, and I am a YTT 200 yoga teacher. I got into yoga 5 years ago, seriously, I would say. And then I did my yoga teacher training. Gosh, it's been 3 years this June. So I've been a yoga teacher for the last 3 years. And my yoga is really, it's a beginner vinyasa. You know, I want to do yoga that's very accessible to everybody. I want everyone to have that healing energy out of their practice. So when you do a flow with me, you might notice that it runs a little on the beginner side. I provide a lot of moderations to basic asanas because, again, I want it to be accessible. But my classes are open to every level, and if you're a regular practitioner, you know what the next form is of your flow, so you can fly into a more complicated asana anytime. But when you flow with me, it's a nice, easy beginner series. So
I appreciate that immensely. Now, given that we are talking about the Self-Care Summit, what are some of the obstacles you've experienced with your own self-care?
Ooh, man, it might be shorter to tell you the list of things that haven't been obstacles for me with my self-care. No, I think that I yoga so hard because self-care has always been kind of a struggle for me. I didn't have any self-care or coping mechanisms built into my life before I started practicing yoga. That's probably the best thing yoga gave me. But no, my struggle with self-care is really just like being honest with my body. Like I wasn't good at checking in with myself physically, mentally, emotionally. And the practice, it forces you to do that. And once you put that self-care in your life with a practice, it's difficult you get a heightened awareness of the other parts of your life where you don't have good self-care built in, right? So
it sounds like that awareness is really key in bringing it back to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you do a lot of work outside of your yoga practice with women primarily. What are some of the things that you see with women overall in the rest of your line of work in their obstacles with self-care?
Yeah, absolutely. So for anybody who doesn't know, when I'm not teaching yoga, I'm a domestic violence crisis advocate. And my population, we primarily serve women. And what I see for women, especially survivors, self-care is the lacking component of a lot of these women's lives. I see a lot of single moms. I see a lot of women that are pulled really thin, spread thin between the different facets of their life. And when I'm meeting with them and when I'm speaking with them, that's the thing that rings clear, that there's not a lot of space for them in their story and in all the things they're holding down, right? And so something I'm always trying to encourage women to do is take advantage of our crisis options, not just for our resources, but also for the hotline space that we make available to them to just talk about how they're doing, because again, that mental and emotional check-in, that's huge for people. I don't think that that's built into our day instinctively. You have to learn how to do that. And we try to give survivors space for that on the hotline all the time, because without that self-care and without that support, you're not going to make it through. So
that's actually a very common thread in a lot of the speaker interviews is how touching base with yourself, making time for just a breath with yourself is so crucial, and how so many women don't allow themselves that space because we're always taught to take care of others first and to put others first.
Yes.
The sensitivity 100. In that.
No, I would say so many of the women that I meet with, they fall into that profile. They are taking care of everybody else around them, but they're so surprised that I'm there on scene asking them, but how do you feel right now? Or what do you need right now, right?
And that's an incredible gift to be able to explore somebody, especially if they've never been given that opportunity before.
Yeah.
Now, what is one of your favorite self-care wins, whether for yourself or one of your clients?
Self-care wins. Honestly, it's any time that I can get somebody tuned into their breathing, right? Because that is the building block of the self-care in your yoga practice. And people don't realize, if you're even tuning into your breath right then, you're practicing yoga. I do yoga with my survivors on scene all the time and they don't even know it. But so the win for me is that I know that if I have a conversation with another person where we take our breath from our chest and we send it down to our diaphragm and just focus on that inhale and that exhale, I've just given that person a tool that they can tap back into any time of the day. That's the easiest self-care thing you can do any time of the day. So I think the self-care win is just the little conversations about breath.
So slow that down and run through how somebody can implement that today, right now.
All right. Yeah, perfect. So if you take your first inhale, first notice where it is in your body. Is it up here? And if it's sitting up here, a lot of us chest breathe if we're not thinking about it. I want you to take an inhale where you fill your diaphragm with air, and then just exhale, pulling your diaphragm back through your body. That feels like pulling your belly button back towards your spine. And then after you do that, and you know what that feels like, try to maybe count your breaths so that you even your inhale and your exhale. Maybe do like a 1, 2, 3 inhale, 1, 2, 3 exhale. Navy SEAL breathing is 4 counts for your inhale and your exhale to bring your body down to that stasis where there's no adrenaline running, you're just tapped into your source. And I recommend people do this for, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, as long as you need to until you feel like you're back in control of your body, right? So.
Again, bringing it down to baby steps and daily implementation. I love it. Thank you very much for that tool. Now, lastly, what are some of the things that you are working on right now?
In my own life. So when I'm not a domestic violence crisis advocate, I'm also an advocate for slow fashion and sustainable ethical practices in our consumer habits. So I'm in the baby steps of starting my blog, andiwore.com. And this is going to be a platform where I'm really trying to provide resources and tools for people to implement in their lifestyle and in their consumption to just, bring your practices into sustainability, right? Like, before this pandemic broke, there were a lot of scary news stories about the environment and about what we're maybe speeding towards if we keep consuming the way we are without any changes. I think that the silver lining here on this shutdown is that we've seen that there are a lot of things we can do on our consumption level to try to be better to the environment going forward. There's a lot of pauses we can take, a lot of intention we can add to our consumer habits. And so andiwore.com is just like, it's a space where I'm going to be talking about sustainability, where I'm going to be talking about the ethics of consumption, the ethics of production, and then just trying to encourage people to find any little ways in their lifestyle to be sustainable, right? So that's what I'm doing.
Well, we appreciate you joining us on this journey, and thank you so much for your contributions. Can't wait to spend a little bit more time with you over the summit.
Yeah, absolutely. Naomi, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to meeting all you guys.
Have a great day.